Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is another Stitch with me while I continue working on Modern Folk Embroidery's Fruits of Plenty sampler. So I experimented last night again with the angle of the tripod and all of that, and I think I have finally hit upon it. I actually have to have the tripod, I hit it a couple times because it literally is right above my head, so just excuse that. But I am finally to the middle portion of this, and when I am finished with the middle portion, I am going to move on to Carolyn Manning's Phoenix. I am going to move on to those other projects and do a week on them. And then once I get back to this one, I will complete another page before I move on. I figure this could take me easily through next week. I don't know once the arbitration starts on Monday. I'm not sure how much stitching time or how that's going to go. I'm going to have to really figure something out here. So I rearranged also stuff in my office that is my stitching stuff. If you watch my cross stitch vlog that I'm going to put up on Saturday, I will show it and explain it more. But last night at like 10 o'clock before I went to bed, I was like, okay, I got to rearrange everything. Yeah, see, I hit it right there. I was like, dang it. Yeah. So today's story is called Wasted Away in Margaritaville. We all know that song, right? By Jimmy Buffett. Okay. There is no question that Thomas Stack had his share of problems before he hooked up with Cynthia Galens. The former airman suffered from bipolar disorder, depression, and was also an alcoholic. You might think that things couldn't get much worse, but in 2007, he met Cynthia Galens, who had problems of her own. Cynthia had been married twice before. Not that that's a problem. Her first marriage to David Barber produced a son, Matthew. Cynthia's ex, David, said that Matthew died in his sleep after a night of partying with friends. Cocaine and prescription medications were found in his system. Oh, boy. Cynthia's second marriage also produced a child, Emily, and after the couple divorced, Emily continued to live with her father. Friends say that Cynthia was never the same after her son's drug overdose. She was determined to stay close with her daughter and also remained close with her ex. In 2007, Cynthia was working as a clerical assistant at the VA hospital in Canandaigua, New York. I don't know if I said that right. It was there that she met Thomas Stack, who was being treated for his own multiple afflictions. The relationship was troubled pretty much from the very beginning. Cynthia's close relationship with her ex-husband and her daughter was a source of friction. I kind of get that, like, not with the daughter, but with the ex. Yeah. In January 2008, while in a drunken fury, what's the guy's name? Thomas. Thomas threatened to kill both David and the daughter, Emily. The fuck? Cynthia went to the police and was granted a stay-away order. Thomas did 3 months in prison, but Cynthia took him right back when he was released. The relationship continued and spiraled right out of control. In January 2009, Cynthia again called the police when Thomas, in another drunken rage, pushed her up against a microwave and threatened her. That time, Thomas did 6 days in jail. It was Cynthia who bailed him out. Will you keep inviting this back into your life? The relationship with Thomas was now taking its toll in other areas of her life. The VA hospital where Cynthia worked had a steadfast rule against staff fraternizing with patients. When they found out that Cynthia was living with a patient, she was fired. As all of this was going on, the cycle of abuse continued until one day in October of 2009, and that was when Cynthia decided she had had enough. And you know, I don't know what it's like to be in an abusive relationship. I've never had that, thank God. I can't imagine. I can't imagine living. Life is hard enough, in my opinion, without having that. right, to deal with. So on the night of October 2nd, Cynthia says that she poured a shot glass full of antifreeze into a container of margarita mix that was in the refrigerator. Ooh. So given Thomas's alcoholic tendencies, she was fairly certain that he would be drinking it soon. On the morning of October 3rd, Thomas was feeling poorly, according to him. Cynthia went out to visit her son's grave, something she did every week. When she returned hours later, Thomas was in trouble. He was foaming at the mouth and was unconscious. Cynthia called her ex-husband David, who took about 30 minutes to get there. And once he got there, they finally called 911, but did not tell the paramedics about the antifreeze. And I don't remember, because we've had a couple cases of antifreeze. I don't remember if it's detectable in your system, right? So, okay. Ethylene glycol is the primary ingredient in automotive antifreeze. It is extremely toxic and can cause a very painful death if not treated early. The time spent trying to find the problem would be time better spent in treating the problem, okay? In this case, the delay seriously hurt Thomas's chances of survival, and he died 4 days later. Cynthia stuck to her story, and there was no real reason to doubt her. Police Captain Scott Crozier said that her story was very credible. The fact that Cynthia did call 911 seemed to back up her story. And Captain Crozier said that it might have been just ingestion of antifreeze for its alcohol content. Like Thomas did it deliberately on his own, kind of like when people would drink, NyQuil, stuff like that has alcohol in it. And it looked like Cynthia would get away with it, but then she took a trip. And she probably isn't going to keep her friggin' yap shut, because nobody ever does that. So in January of 2010, Cynthia traveled to Clearwater, Florida to visit Nancy Cothern, an old high school friend. Yeah, friggin' dummy. For some reason, Cynthia told Nancy she had put antifreeze in the margarita mix. You big friggin' dummy. So Nancy called a friend of hers who was a cop in Clearwater, and Cynthia repeated the same story to Darcy Hunt, who is the cop. And I would love to have been in on that conversation. Like, her friend, why would her friend call a cop of hers, and why would Cynthia repeat the story? It doesn't make sense, right? So Darcy, of course, told it to her superiors, who in turn contacted the police in New York. And then back home, Cynthia had some explaining to do. And you know what? Maybe Cynthia wanted to come clean. Maybe she wanted to tell somebody, because I think it probably is a pretty huge and heavy burden carrying that with you, right? Knowing that you killed someone. So when questioned, Cynthia admitted to spiking the margaritas, but said that she did not intend to cause Thomas's death. Then why was she doing it? Just to make him sick? I don't understand. She is quoted as saying, "If I didn't want him around, I would have put a lot more in. I just wanted to get him sick." Remember, she only put a shot glass worth, and I don't know how concentrated it is, but yeah. So on January 6, 2010, Cynthia was arrested and charged with murder. She was offered a plea deal, which would have seen her plead guilty and accept a sentence of 18 years. However, Cynthia and her lawyer stuck to their guns and pleaded not guilty, which ensured a trial. We are not sure what the defense could have been thinking, because the prosecution's weapons were loaded, and holy hell, they have some pictures of Cynthia here. She's rough looking. So the prosecution had the testimony of Nancy Cothern, as well as Clearwater police officer Darcy Hunt, who clearly had no reason to lie. Yeah, why would they lie, right? Jeannie Benno of the medical examiner's office testified that Thomas had ingested between 6 and 12 ounces of ethylene glycol, which disputed Cynthia's claim of just pouring a shot glass of the toxic antifreeze into the margarita mix. I don't know how many ounces a shot glass is, but it's not 6 to 12. I want to say it's probably like a shot glass might be like 3 ounces. I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments. So Cynthia's own daughter, Emily, testified that Cynthia had asked her to help dispose of the body. Jesus, nothing like roping your kids into it. The problem with that was that Thomas was still breathing at the time and no effort had been made to help him. So he wasn't even dead yet. So it was not much of a surprise when the jury found Cynthia guilty of first-degree manslaughter. On November 10th, 2010, Ontario County Court Judge William Kocher sentenced her to 23 years in prison. DA Mike Tantillo said that the evidence against Cynthia was so overwhelming that she should have taken the plea deal. And the DA is quoted as saying, "You can't ignore the fact that this caused a great deal of pain to the victim's family members to have to listen to the excruciating testimony. I also think that it's outrageous that a case that had as strong evidence as this one did, that the defendant required her own daughter to be compelled to testify against her. That's not going to serve her well down the road." You know, I think in cases like this, or in many cases, you know, yes, people taking a plea deal will avoid a trial and avoid the family being put through the excruciating details of how their loved one was murdered. I can't even imagine. Can't imagine it. No. So in 2013, Cynthia appealed, claiming that she was denied effective counsel. She also claimed that the sentence was excessive, 2 years less than the maximum allowed and 5 years more than originally offered by the prosecution in the plea deal. All appeals so far have been dismissed. Why should you have a lesser sentence than the plea deal? The plea deal is to entice you to take it. You big dummy. Cynthia is currently serving her sentence in the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women in Bedford Hills, New York. She is now 58 years old. I don't know when this story was written. Her projected earliest release date is May 4th, 2030, at which time she will be 72 years old. So she can't even get out until another 9 years, and who knows, they might not even let her out. So that was quite the story, wasn't it? They all are. They all are quite the story. So remember, look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look a little harder. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.